drag it out the back of your wardrobe if you're not using it, dust it off. Don't even worry about dusting it off, it will sell. Hi guys, hope you're fab. I'm Antonia from timpanies.com. Do click here if you'd like to know more about Timpanies. Today I'm bringing you something slightly different to the sort of topics I've talked about before. Usually I talk about things that are great sellers, things that are good investments, stuff that the market's going crazy for. But today I'm going to be talking about specific branded items that we literally cannot sell. So things that are just really unpopular in the market. And I'd also be really interested to know if you've had the same experience with these particular brands or any other brands. So let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this topic as well. Other than that guys, sit back, relax and enjoy this video. So the first item that we get people bringing in to try and sell with us, but that the market just doesn't want, it's saturated, it's had enough of it, and that's, I don't know if there's a part of me that's just a personal hate towards this bag, but it's the Chloe Paddington bag. You know, it was done back in the late 2000s. Everyone had one. I think that's part of the problem with kind of older it bags, except for the Dior saddlebag, which I'm kind of wondering whether this tube might bite me in the bum in a couple of years' time when the Chloe Paddington makes a rebirth. But yeah, for me, the Chloe Paddington is done and it's impossible to resell it. If you are reselling it, you might sell it for like £150, something like that. Nothing on what it was originally. I think it's just an unpractical piece. The shape of it, the fact that when you put it on the floor, it literally just splodges. Like, it's the worst thing. You can't find anything you want in it. It weighs a ton. It's got unnecessary stuff on it. Yeah. For me, the Chloe Paddington bag, not only can we not sell it, but I personally also dislike it, as you might tell. The next one that we're starting to struggle to sell, which is quite an interesting one, is the Michael by Michael Kors bags. I think it's potentially because we have a slightly older demographic, so women between the ages of say late 20s to late 40s, early 50s, and maybe they're not necessarily buying into that brand. But we've certainly found that we can no longer sell at a reasonable rate Michael by Michael Kors bags. I think they have flooded the market somewhat. I think there's probably quite a lot of fakes out there, which definitely puts off a real buyer. And perhaps people of that age demographic are opting more towards the premium luxury brands, so your Chanels, your Pradas, your Gucci's, bags that are timeless and classic and will stand the test of time. An interesting point on that though, the Michael by Michael Kors clothing sells very well. It's a great price point. They're really good, very wearable pieces. But what we have found is that the Michael by Michael Kors diffusion line has somewhat eroded the prices that we can get for mainline Michael Kors. So that's kind of an interesting one around that brand. Kind of overall, we find that the Michael by Michael Kors bags are hard to sell, the clothing is easier to sell, and the mainline Michael Kors clothing is actually harder to get really good prices for. So yeah, interesting one around that brand. Let me know your thoughts on that. I think there might be quite a lot of outlets in America for Michael Kors, which could also erode the kind of premium nature of the brand. So the next one for us is actually one that used to sell really, really well when we first opened the store about 9 years ago, and that is Gina heels. They are generally pretty out there, pretty blingy, pretty Swarovski encrusted, and we used to get quite a lot of people coming in saying, do you ever get them? Can you call me? But really in recent years we haven't had those sorts of requests at all. We've had a lot of people moving more towards a low-key, less obvious, I suppose, style of designer shoes. So even slightly away from Louboutin and more towards maybe something like GM Vito Rossi. Jimmy Choos are always really great sellers. But yeah, it's been quite an interesting thing to observe that. We still sell the flat sandals quite well, but in terms of the Swarovski encrusted higher heels, are just not as in demand for us. The next one for me is actually more of a general, broader sort of genre, and that is brands that have gone bust or gone out of business. We find that demand drops off a cliff. Sometimes the press kind of like to tote it as, oh, you know, the pieces would be limited edition, they'll be harder to get hold of, it'll push the price up. But actually what I've found is it really doesn't do that. So for example, something like bags by Luella Bartley, we found that the prices just really haven't been maintained and there's no demand in the second-hand market. I guess that's slightly different if the designer passes away, so something like McQueen, because his name has continued and he was such a pioneer and so extraordinary in his field that his prices have maintained. So guys, the only thing that I really wanted to add on to the end of this video is to let you know the things that actually are selling really well now. Sorry, I've got a cold. I was doing so well. And essentially that is anything Gucci, anything with a GG print on, drag it out the back of your wardrobe if you're not using it, dust it off. Don't even worry about dusting it off, it will sell. Seriously, Gucci is flying off the shelves. And also your Dior saddle bag that you bought all those years ago, if you're not using it, just sell it now. Just bite the bullet and get rid of it, because seriously, about 18 months ago we were selling them for £150, now we're selling them for £400. That's a huge increase, and if you're not going to use it, you may as well get a little bit of cash for it. Guys, I think that's pretty much it. Seriously interested to know your comments, so let loose down below in the comments. Let me know what you're selling, what you can't sell, what you like, what you don't, all of that great stuff. Don't forget to hit like, don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you same time next weekend. Bye guys.